You know what I'm saying? Like, I live in a house, I pay $35,000 a month. That's over $300,000 a year.
Yeah, you do have an elevator in your crib.
I do have an elevator in my crib, so how is Sean Kingston broke? I have 4 properties I own in Port St. Lucie.
When people talk about one-hit legends, a few names always pop up, but none hit the highs and lows like this story. At just 17, Sean Kingston wasn't just making noise. He owned the airwaves. His hit single shot straight to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, turning him from a kid with a dream into an international superstar overnight. But fast forward a few years and that same kid who once sang about love and sunshine is now locked up in a federal prison, accused of pulling off luxury scams, fake wire transfers, and living a life built on illusion instead of fame. And here's the craziest twist, his own mother was part of the hustle too. She wasn't just helping behind the scenes, she was allegedly running the show, facing a longer sentence than her son. How does someone go from topping global charts to losing everything behind bars? Let's rewind the story that stunned everyone. Sean's roots were tough, born in Miami, raised in Jamaica, and surrounded by struggle from the start. Life didn't hand him any easy breaks. By his early teens, Sean already knew what survival meant. His mom had been locked up for bank fraud, and he himself caught a breaking and entering charge at just 11 years old. It wasn't the kind of beginning that screamed superstar, but music was always in his veins. His grandfather, the legendary reggae producer Jack Ruby, once worked with Bob Marley himself, so greatness was in the family. That legacy became Sean's spark, the one thing he refused to let go of no matter how rough life got. So when he turned 15, he took a wild leap of faith, packing up a dream, a few clothes, and just $300 before flying one way to Los Angeles. He didn't know anyone, had no plan B, and barely had a place to sleep, but his hunger was unstoppable. He crashed on random couches, wrote music late into the night, and started uploading tracks to MySpace under the name Franchise, praying that someone, anyone, would listen.
My mom left, I was on my own, you know, and it forced me to become a man early and to get on my job. And I always said to myself that when my mom get out of jail, like, I'm gonna be picking her up in her dream car, like.
Sean's grind finally paid off when fate and a MySpace message changed everything. One day, legendary producer J.R. Rodham stumbled onto his page, heard his sound, and knew there was something special there. He signed Sean to Beluga Heights, setting him up to record a rap project that could have gone anywhere, until one jaw-dropping moment flipped the whole plan. In the middle of a session, Rodham heard Sean start singing instead of rapping, and stopped everything on the spot. He literally froze and said, "Wait, do that again." The rap album was scrapped right then and there. Rodham realized Sean's real magic wasn't in bars, it was in his melody, his tone, that soulful island rhythm that couldn't be faked. That single decision birthed one of the biggest hits of the decade.
And overnight, they decided to change the entire Franchise rap album into a singing album because this dude sang and they didn't realize that he could sing, and they changed Franchise's name to Sean Kingston.
In 2007, Beautiful Girls dropped, and the timing couldn't have been more perfect. Billboard had just started counting digital downloads toward chart positions, giving Sean a rocket boost straight to the top. The track entered at number 83, but exploded to #1 in no time, and stayed there for 4 straight weeks. He knocked hay there. Delilah off the throne and found himself sitting above giants like Timbaland, Fergie, and even Rihanna. His debut album went gold, hitting #6 on the Billboard 200, and songs like Take You There and Me Love cemented his global takeover. By the end of 2007, Sean Kingston was living the dream every 17-year-old could only imagine, touring with Gwen Stefani and Beyonce, performing with Chris Brown and Soulja Boy at Madison Square Garden, and cashing checks that didn't even seem real. He had the world screaming his name, flashing lights in his face, and luxury at his fingertips. But that same fast life, the fame, the pressure, the need to keep shining, would soon come crashing down harder than he ever expected.
Different situations as far as your jewelry, right? That, like, of course, all the jewelers seem to always be coming after you with lawsuits and things like that. Like, why is it that they keep on coming after you? Always some tricky stuff to it. Like, what is going on with that?
I have paperwork with every jeweler that I ever did business with. When I go to a jeweler,
I said, okay, I want this, I want that, I want that, I want that.
Yeah.
And they'll say, okay, 350,000. My bad, it'll come to more than 350. It'll come to like 3 something, like 380. I'll give them 350. And they'll say you have a balance, so the rest of the 30,000, you're gonna do in payments. If I'm late on one payment, it's not I'm late on the payment because I don't have the money to pay you. I'm late on the payment because my mom handles my business and she's all over the place doing the main things at once because I don't have a business manager. So when I'm late on that payment, it's not like I can't pay for it. No, the money is there. You know what I'm saying? Like I live in a house, I pay $35,000 a month. That's over $300,000 a year.
Yeah, you do have an elevator in your crib.
I do have an elevator in my crib. So how is Sean Kingston broke? I have 4 properties I own in Port St. Lucie. One in Tampa, 3 in Port St. Lucie, Florida. Like I have money coming in, but it's just that these people are very, very, and no disrespect to jewelers, but they are very, very money hungry, and they only look at clients as a dollar sign, and that's not right.
In 2009, Sean Kingston came back swinging with his second album, Tomorrow. It had heat. Tracks like Fire Burning lit up the charts, spending 21 straight weeks on the Hot 100 and peaking at number 5. For a minute, it looked like Sean was untouchable again, but the hype faded quick, and soon the spotlight started drifting away. Instead of giving up, Sean switched gears. Behind the scenes, he helped write Jason Derulo's smash hit What You Say, secretly landing himself another number 1 without even being on the mic. Then came Eeny Meeny with a young Justin Bieber, another banger that hit number 15 on Billboard. The talent was there, no question, but keeping fame alive, that's a whole different game, and Sean was running out of fuel fast. Then tragedy struck. In 2011, Sean's world flipped in seconds when he crashed a jet ski in Miami. The accident almost killed him. His aorta was torn, his ribs shattered, and his jaw broken. He went through 2 heart surgeries just to stay alive. Doctors didn't think he'd make it through the night. But somehow, 23 days later, Sean Kingston walked out of that hospital, scarred, but breathing. It was the kind of moment that could have rewritten his whole story, a real-life wake-up call that said, slow down before it's too late.
I was going 75 miles per hour. And as I got close, jet ski doesn't have any brakes, so as I got close, I tried to slow down because I knew I couldn't make it under because the tide got high. It looked like I could have I could have went under, but as I got close to it, I started noticing that the tide, it was rising up. So I started going 75 miles per hour like that guy, and then I hit the bridge. I hit a bridge and I tore my aorta, which is the tube that connects to your heart.
But instead of learning from it, Sean went right back to chasing the flash. The parties got wilder, the toys got flashier, and the mansions kept getting bigger, even when the money wasn't. It was like he couldn't stop trying to live up to the image he'd built years before. By 2013, he tried to make a comeback with Back to Life. But the title didn't match reality. The single Beat It, featuring Chris Brown and Wiz Khalifa, barely cracked the Hot 100, and the album tanked. Critics said it sounded dated, and fans had already moved on to a new wave of artists. That was the last time Sean Kingston made real noise in music. Then the downfall really began, and this time it wasn't about hits, it was about money. The IRS came knocking first, hitting him with a $130,000 tax bill he couldn't pay. Then came lawsuits, repossessed cars, and checks that kept bouncing like basketballs. In 2014, he got detained in the Dominican Republic for skipping out on a $9,000 nightclub bill. Yes, $9,000. A few months later, a jeweler named Avida Jeweler sued him for $356,000 in unpaid bling. After that, it was lawsuit after lawsuit. 2016, owed Mof Jewelers $44,000. 2016 again, sued by Aquamaster for $300,000. 2017, another jeweler said he bounced checks for a $46,000 Rolex. Sean was caught in a cycle, pretending to live large while drowning in debt. The jewelry, the designer fits, the cars, none of it was really his anymore. By this point, people weren't calling him a hit maker, they were calling him a scammer. His name didn't shine on charts, it showed up in court documents instead. His reputation crashed, burned, and barely hanging on.
You know what? I'm all cleared up. You know what I'm saying? I don't owe nobody no jewelry. I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I got like I said, I did a $4.2 million deal with Empire. You know what I mean? And I'm blessed.
And another thing too, when we talk about like,
and as soon as I got that, I started clearing up all this because I ain't want no karma. I believe in karma and I believe in doing, you feel me? So I made sure the first thing I did was just clear up a lot of the stuff that I needed to, you know?
By 2020, the truth hit harder than any headline. Sean Kingston was broke. Court filings revealed that the same man who once bragged about beautiful girls and Bentleys had less than $7 left in one bank account. 2 more were sitting in the negative, and he didn't own a single car or piece of property. The kid who once toured the world was now living back at home with his mom. A full circle no one saw coming. Then just when it looked like it was over, a spark of hope showed up. In 2022, Sean announced he'd signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Empire Records, a move that was supposed to mark his big comeback. The album, Road to Deliverance, was hyped as his redemption story, the project that would bring him back from the dead. But when it finally dropped, nothing happened. The record flopped, the numbers were low, and fans barely noticed it existed. The label quietly stepped back, and the deliverance he promised never came. And that's when things took a dark turn again. Between April 2023 and March 2024, federal investigators say Sean and his mother, Janice Turner, turned to scamming full-time. According to reports, they slide into business DMs on Instagram, posing as big-time celebrities making collabs or promo deals for high-end brands. They offered exposure and partnerships in exchange for designer items, jewelry, electronics, anything luxury. But once the goods showed up, the payments never did. They allegedly sent over fake wire transfer receipts, forged bank documents that looked real enough to pass inspection, and as soon as the sellers caught on, Sean and his mom were gone without a trace. Ghost mode activated, and another fraud play was in motion.
Now, a very active scene outside of a home connected to rapper Sean Kingston. Dozens of deputies have been going in and out all day long, and now we've learned his mother has been arrested.
One of the first big victims in Sean's 2024 downfall was Ver Entertainment, a high-end audio company that installed a massive 232-inch home theater system inside his Florida mansion. Sean told them it was for an upcoming Justin Bieber music video, claiming it would be featured in front of millions of fans. He promised to pay $47,000, but instead he sent over a fake $40,000 wire receipt and acted like everything was handled. When the company showed up at his house to collect, they were met with excuses, delays, and finally his cousin at the door saying Sean wasn't home. Total runaround. But that wasn't the end. The next target was Andre Nico, a luxury jeweler who trusted Sean enough to hand him a $342,000 Richard Mille watch, plus a free Rolex as a bonus gift. Sean hit him with the same smooth talk, saying he was filming a Bieber video and promising, "This is gonna change your life, bro." But of course, the wire transfer was fake again. When Andre started pressing for payment, Sean's mom, Janice Turner, stepped in, and that's when things got really shady. She allegedly sent over forged Bank of America documents to make it look like the payment had gone through. But once Andre realized he'd been played, he went off, texting Sean, "Soon you'll be talking to your lawyer through bars. You and your mom are running out of time." Turns out he wasn't just mad, he was right. As the investigation unfolded, the feds uncovered text messages, fake wire receipts, and actual conversations between Sean and his mom, openly discussing the scams. In one chilling exchange, Janice texted her son, "Can you do this Bank of America receipt for $285,000 so they leave me alone?" It was clear she'd done this before. She even had a record for bank fraud years earlier. This time, she was the one coaching him through every move, like a fraud mastermind behind the curtain. Eventually, the walls closed in. Federal agents raided Sean Kingston's mansion, uncovering hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stolen goods, from watches and luxury furniture to electronics and designer gear. Everything he flaunted online was part of the scam. The story ended exactly how everyone feared. Both Sean and his mother were arrested. Janice Turner got hit with 5 years in prison, while Sean Kingston was sentenced to 42 months, just over 3.5 years behind bars. For a man who once sang about paradise and sunshine, his reality had turned cold, gray, and locked behind steel doors. When U.S. Marshals showed up to take his mom into custody, Sean Kingston couldn't hold it together. Witnesses say he broke down crying, begging them to go easy on her, pleading, please, she didn't mean it. But by then, it was way too late. The same woman who once helped build his dreams was now sitting in the back of a police van, and Sean was watching everything crumble in real time. His lawyers tried to spin it, saying it was all just poor money management and an addiction to jewelry, like he was just caught up trying to live too flashy. But the truth ran much deeper and darker. Sean Kingston wasn't just reckless with money. He built a lifestyle on lies. Every chain, every car, every mansion, none of it was real success. It was all part of the illusion, a facade built on fraud, fake wires, and broken promises. The people he scammed weren't billionaires. They were hardworking business owners, hustlers, and creatives just trying to get paid for their work. And when it all came crashing down, there wasn't a drop of sympathy left. Not from fans, not from old industry friends, and definitely not from the same music world that once cheered his name. This wasn't some tragic downfall, it was karma catching up after years of running from the truth. Sean Kingston went from the top of the charts to the bottom of the system, and this time there's no auto-tune or catchy hook to save him. If you made it this far, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one.